Social care work is not necessarily a professional and academic discipline. However, like social work, it is committed to the pursuit of social welfare and social change. And for this, we have our we're very honored actually to have our guest who has been in our show, and it's never enough to have him on the show for all the knowledge that he offers and the fun that we have when he's here, because he has a specific way of addressing things. We have Dr. Al-Aoud. Thank you for coming. Let me introduce you properly. Dr. Al-Aoud is actually a professor in clinical social work, which is basically the core of what we'll be talking about at Al-Imam University. Dr. Nasser, thank you very much for being with us today in the show. One more.
Thank you. Happy to be here and to participate in this well-selected topics, which is my field, and I think it's needed in our community as I observe and practice and work with such group such as those volunteers who participate in various things in our country and helps the individuals, family, and society as well.
Great. And
actually, it's unacceptable. You cannot explain it actually easily to find such individuals who volunteer in such good work to help others. What's the reason behind this? But people who are research in this area have suggested that people usually, the human are naturally, built with helping each others. Mm-hmm. But where is the encouragement? Where is the programs? Where is the people who encourage those individuals to go and do the volunteer? Plus, who build the skills on those individuals to go and do such a good job in their community? But, research has also suggested that people who do volunteer work are more likely to be, exposed to such volunteer work in their life. For example, they have watched their father or mother, or they been encouraged by their societies, such as schools or community or clubs. Mm-hmm. But, as I said before, it's a human natural that you help each other. Just imagine that you're on walk in the street and somebody just fall down. As anybody who walks in the street will go and try to help them. But the question, and the big question is this person capable of doing that? Volunteer work sometimes it's doing more harm than good for others who do not do it such good. For example, people who volunteer in medical, where they have no experience in such medical setting, probably will affect this individuals. Mm-hmm. It's not just everybody wanted to do something. It's not something just wishing. Everybody wished to help each other, but it's the way that such organized people and individuals, as you spoke, I've been honored to meet those individuals in Jeddah and Dammam, mm-hmm. who just organize themselves without being affiliated with such organization. Mm-hmm. Although their job has been, just secondary for others, just organizing an event or doing clean up in the beach or whatever as the activity is. Mm-hmm. But at foremost, I've seen, I've been, associating with some of them in such meeting, and I found them are professional, being exposed to such activity before, or their father and mother has encouraged them who they were their childhood in school or on the community. So you just find those individuals well skilled, and some of them are engineer, some of them are medical MD, and other from various discipline. All things that's gather them and help them and encourage them and try to organize them, adjust their interest in helping their community.
Right. Let me interrupt you, if I may, Doctor. Now, you just mentioned something that is very important. Although social work is important, or social care work, volunteer care work, which is basically what we're talking about today, where individuals do actually volunteer their time, their effort, their knowledge to help others, whatever the other group is, or whatever the work that they're going to be doing is. Yes. You just said something that is very, very important. They need to be prepared for it. They need to know how to do it. By default, in many countries, there is actually a bachelor's degree for social work, where you already have a specialization a medical specialization, an economic, environmental specialization, and then from there you actually go into social works where they teach you how to utilize your knowledge to be helping others. Whether it's a group or one-to-one. These groups of people that are doing this fantastic work, many of them are professionals in the field, and they have done social work and they're well prepared, but many others are not. So let's a little bit maybe emphasize on the importance of knowing what you're doing. You cannot help somebody who's sick if you're not a doctor, even if you wanted to, even if your intention is good, right?
You cannot build house for humanitarian activities, such as the disasters happening in Pakistan and China and other, even in Saudi Arabia and southeastern. We have in Jeddah the flooding that happened last year.
The floods, yes.
Exactly. There is many people who've been affected with this. Some of them lost their life while they were trying to do volunteer work to help others because they didn't know how to swim, and others, as a result, they just end up dying in those events. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is the organization or the group that who go and train those people who want to be volunteer in their job. And I've been honored to participate in such organizing a bill to be discussed by the Shura Council, and alhamdulillah we end up with 16 items that organize and try to manage the volunteer work in Saudi Arabia.
Is this an organization?
And it's not an organization. It's under the Ministry of Interior. They are the minister that's responsible for volunteer work, for Hajj, for Umrah, for whatever such activity.
Right.
And they try to organize the volunteer work in Saudi Arabia, and they came up with 16 items that organize the job. For example, who volunteer, where, how old are they, what kind of batch are they, what's their obligation, what's their requirement. So this is very important.
Is there like a website for this?
No, actually, there is. On the other hand, there is such a non-profit organization for volunteer work. I think it's been approved by the Ministry of Social Welfare.
So if I wanted to do some social work, for example, from all the people that are listening to us now through our show, if I would want to help out as a volunteer in whatever field, let's say I'm a TV presenter and I can help through presenting the different cases.
Exactly.
Who do I go to?
The problem is now every organization has its volunteer system. They have a form you fill out. It's come to the people who are in charge, review your experience, and they just ask you for help, and they sign the paper. But unfortunately, we do not have an official system that organizes all the volunteer work in Saudi Arabia. For example, if you go to such an event that's happening, for example, in the disaster or the flooding in Jeddah, you cannot go without signing those papers and being supervised by this volunteer. Also, the Ministry of Interior wanted all the volunteers to register, and this is very important in the state and others in the United States and UN, United Nations. You have a register. I could go as a social worker professional, my professional. I go and register in this website, and they review my application, and they just give me like
a code number.
And they give me a license. I have to keep it. In order to keep it, I have to volunteer in such activity. I have to get experience. For example, if I'm interested in counseling people who are emotionally disturbed in their event, I have to get licensed. I have to be trained. I have to know. They review my degree. You cannot go
just because you want to help. You need to know how to do it.
This is the problem in the volunteer work. And I just want to refer this to you. Dr. Rashid Al-Baz, one of the professor in our department, has investigated the individuals' attitude in this country toward volunteer work, and all the group that he surveyed has agreed that volunteer work is very important, and they want it, but they don't know where to go. Unfortunately, as you just raised, it's very important that the volunteer work has to be organized and supervised by one of the organization. It's not everybody in a group wanted to do something and they go and do it.
How about if we go to Washington